Welcome to demo time. Thank you very much for everybody coming out. This is a space and event for startups to share their journey, what they've built. It could be anything from just a pet project to a full-fledged company that you've built. We have three great presentations today. One of them is Lick Auctions. I want to call it Liquid Auctions, but it's just Liquid Auctions. Okay, cool. And then we have Lowtail, and we also have JewelFit, who's coming back to give an update about where probably about a year or so ago they presented. So I'd love to see how far they've gotten with building their company. So yeah, without further ado, we'll have Robert come up and present Liquid Auctions.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, well, hello everyone. I'm Robert. And I am working on Liquid Auctions. So Lick is short for Liquid Auctions. It's a bid-to-earn auction protocol on the blockchain. Wait, I should probably do present mode. So I'm working on this with my co-founder, Raymond. He was one of the most profitable NFT traders.
You lost it.
Oh, you lost it? Oh. Hold on.
There we go.
All right, yeah, I'm working with Raymond. He's one of the most profitable NFT traders. He was listed as a legendary NFT trader by Nansen. If you've heard of Cent, it was the platform where Jack Dorsey sold his first tweet for $2.9 million. He was also the first engineer there. I worked at several startups in Silicon Valley, so I have more of a traditional startup background. I was the first employee at Engagio, which was acquired by Demandbase in like 2018, I think. And I was an early employee at Shogun, which is a YC company, and sold another company called Farewell back in the day. So what are we building? Or what problem are we solving? Right now, in auctions, if somebody places a bid, it doesn't actually mean that the person's going to buy the asset that they bid on. So this is true for eBay, and it's also true for traditional auction houses like Sotheby's and Christie's. So even though you see a high bid, many times the person doesn't actually pay for it, whether that's on purpose or they have issues getting the liquidity to pay for the asset. We don't have exact numbers on that because obviously eBay and Christie's don't like to publish that because it doesn't make them look good. So it's all private. So the solution is guaranteed payment on the blockchain. And I'll go into some other benefits for this. So right now, this is what that looks like. The way it works is kind of like eBay, but again, the payments are guaranteed, and it's also a lot more social. And so if you see on the right side, I don't know if you can see my cursor, here we have a live chat, and then up at the top, we have a Twitter Spaces style discussion. And so you can imagine if you have a very unique piece of artwork that you're auctioning off, the artist can actually be in the auction room discussing with other people what makes that piece of art unique, right? And really sell the item. Whereas if you're trying to do this on eBay, there's no interaction with anybody, right? If you don't know anything about the art piece, you wouldn't know how to price it, you wouldn't know what makes it special. And so we think this will make it a lot more engaging and help the artist find the true price of the asset that they're selling. Right. Some other things that make the platform unique are that, one, you have access to funds even before the auction ends. And so if you imagine you have a watch that's worth $100,000, you create an auction for 30 days. As soon as you create the auction, if somebody bids $500,000, which is half the price of the watch, you can take out essentially half of that price right away, right? So you have instant liquidity. But in order to make that happen, that means that bids are kept in escrow, and so the bidder is taking a risk. And so to incentivize bidders to put their money up front, you need to incentivize them by providing a yield. So essentially it acts kind of like a loan, whereas if you bid, say $500,000 for the watch, and then you get outbid, you earn 3% on that $50,000, right, which is not insignificant. The way that looks in practice is this. In eBay, you might be aware that you could create a 30-day auction, but it doesn't matter because nobody's going to bid on it until the very last 5 minutes, which is very stressful as a seller. And there's really no reason to have a 30-day auction. But on our platform, since we're providing a yield, as soon as you create an auction, you could actually treat it as a loan, but then decide to sell if the price is right. So going back to that watch example, you could create the loan, instantly get $50,000, and by the end of the auction, people might start bidding up to $95K, and you might decide, okay, that's a good enough price. I decide to sell, and so that's what makes this platform unique. The other unique thing that we're adding to the platform is that it's very Web2 friendly. You don't need a wallet. You don't need MetaMask. You can sign in with your email address. We create a wallet for you. And so you don't really need to know anything about the blockchain. It just works out of the box. And that's important for this reason. So we're targeting real-world assets. Does anybody know what that means?
Physical good?
Yeah, so we're targeting physical goods. That means that if you own, again, like a watch or a car or sports cards, there are companies that are vaulting them, or there have always been these companies, but those companies are creating NFTs that represent that item. And so this is what we're buying and selling, essentially. And you can take that NFT and redeem the physical asset at any time. So it's an NFT, but backed by a real physical item. It's not like a monkey picture, right? And in the past 12 months, this space has grown 23x. I think it was like around $250 million market to $6 billion as of last month. And so in the entire NFT space, this is the only space that's growing rapidly. And this is just an example of all the different the vaulting companies are popping up. So we've talked with Fabrica. They tokenize land. So they acquire land, they create an NFT for it, and then people can buy and sell that NFT and own that piece of land. And this 4K does everything. Courtyard does Pokemon cards, etc. Market opportunity. This is kind of a work in progress. Sorry, everything's a work in progress. This is a MVP that we just built in the past 4 months. Our revenue model is we take 3% of secondary auctions. This is pretty straightforward. And then we plan to help people launch their items. So again, going back to artists, if you were an artist and you create a piece of art and then you want to tokenize it and launch on our platform, we would take a higher percentage because it's more effort, right? This is kind of the landscape. Again, because the market is so new, right? In the past 12 months, it's just exploded. There isn't really any direct competition at the moment. But if you compare us to Web2 auction houses like eBay or just like OpenSea, if you're comparing us to NFTs, we're providing a very unique value proposition, which I can go into if anybody has more questions. We plan on raising in January next year, so pretty soon. Right now we're in Outliers Ventures Accelerator, and so their demo day is in January, and so we're planning on using that to kickstart our launch. Right now we do have some angel investors. Again, Outlier Ventures, and then these are our angels. So yeah, CJ Watson, that was a cool one. If you're an NBA fan, you would know. And he's a local in Las Vegas, by the way. Yeah, and that's the presentation. I can give a short demo. How much time do I have?
About 13 minutes. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay, so this is live on mainnet, but we're in a closed beta, so we just have like 30 testers. Nothing crazy. Which account am I on? All right. So I think the way I wanted to do this was to, hold on. I think I'll display bidding and then using another account to outbid that and then show that the reward gets awarded to the person who got outbid, right? And so this is like a tester. Well, this is a real Reddit avatar, but we use it for testing. And hopefully this works. This is Robert. Okay, place bid. 2.25 USD.
Is this confirmation happening on the chain right now? Is what's
Yeah.
going on? Okay.
So it's all built on Polygon. I guess I forgot to mention, okay, so it went through, and now you can see I'm the highest bidder, right, Robert. And my wallet went from 5 USD to 2.75. This is my other account. Oh, I wanted to actually show this. Let me log out first. So this is showing that, again, you don't need a wallet. You can just sign in with Google, hopefully. Yeah. And so you don't need a MetaMask or anything like that.
So now you're in a different profile.
Yeah. Now I'm in a different profile. See, the highest bidder is Robert. Right now I'm in Finding Nemi. And I might have to... Hold on a sec. Oh, here, okay. And this one, so you can connect with your MetaMask. And so now this is connected to my MetaMask. I should be able to say 3.25. Let's do $1 increase. And then you can see you have the normal MetaMask flow. Need to fix that. And then now I'm the highest bidder. And then so theoretically, this should now show, yeah, so less than a minute ago, I got outbid and I earned 0.75 cents.
So, can we ask questions?
No, I'm kidding, yeah.
And then I'm going to use wholer numbers just for easy math. But let's say I bid $100. You said 3%. Again, easy math. The item that I'm trying to understand is, if I bid $100, are you taking that $100 out of my account?
Yes.
And then you're saying that when I get outbid, I get $100 and some change, like $101.
You get $100 plus 3% of that, so $103.
So then, where does that money come from? Aren't people incentivized to outbid each other forever?
Well, why would they be incentivized to outbid each other forever?
Okay, so let's say you and I are really good friends, and you're like, all right, Sami, I need you to come bid some money on
Oh,
this.
I'm sorry. The newest bidder, the newest bidder pays for the fee to the past bidder.
So basically, based on the increase between bid number 1 and bid number 2, that's where that commission is coming
Yeah.
from. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it's not like an infinite money hack. Yeah.
Keep thinking about it.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
What's your plan to acquire users to do the whole marketing aspect of the project?
Good question. We're still figuring that out, but our go-to-market is essentially, there's all these platforms popping up, right? And they're the ones that are doing the vaulting. And so you have all these assets that are vaulted and all these NFTs popping up for them, but you can't do anything with them, right? That's the issue. There's other platforms creating loans for them, but our plan, at least the one we're talking about the most right now, is partnering with all these different vaulting platforms and then partnering with them and helping market their assets, right? And then so it would be like a joint marketing venture because we help them market with the auctions. Yeah, essentially that's how we're thinking about it. I don't know if that's correctly answers your question.
When you say vaulting, then what do you mean? You're specifically talking about a digital asset that's backed by a real world asset.
Correct.
And so, like, are there specific companies you're talking to?
Yep. So we are in extensive talks with Courtyard. They do Pokemon cards, well, sports cards and Pokemon cards. And then 4K does like more collectible, like unique collectible stuff. So sports memorabilia, just anything interesting you might want to vault. Fabrica, like I said, does land. But every day there's like a new platform that pops up. So this is why it's so interesting, right? It's like we plan to consolidate all of these into being like the auction house where you auction these things off.
I know it's really early stage for you guys, and you just built this 4 months ago, but have you started thinking about exit strategy, just in terms of acquisition versus exit?
No, it's too early for that. Yeah. Yep.
What are you looking for like securing funds in your escrow? Like where do you keep them, and then how do you guarantee like people putting their money into it that they'll be secured for there, and then will they face some kind of I don't know, taxable penalty once they convert it back into U.S. dollars, let's say?
So everything happens through a smart contract, so it's all public. You know, when we have more money, we'll have it fully audited and, you know, go through the whole thing. And so hopefully that'll instill confidence in people who are putting their money up front. And as far as being taxed, I assume yes, because you are converting it to USDC, but I don't know the exact answer to that. But I assume yes. Like if you're earning money, right, and then you convert it back to your bank account, you have to claim as income, I assume, right?
What do you currently need for your, like, what's the next step for you? What's the gap that you would like people to help fill?
The gap that we would like to help fill. Right now, we're building like crazy. And then my co-founder is focused on, it's just the two of us. So I'm doing most of the building right now. And then he's focused on doing like the biz dev. And then he's usually the one who gives the pitch. So this is the first time I've ever done this pitch.
I was just going to say, I think you guys are in the opposite role right now. Yeah. But you're doing a good job. I didn't mean to put it that way.
Thank you. Yeah.
No city just made fun of him being in this, and you're the building the engineering side.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the problem. We're both engineers. And so, but we decided like, all right, he needs, the roles have to be clearly defined. So if he's doing fundraising and biz dev, he needs to be completely focused on that. When you're doing that and then switching to engineering, you get sucked in too much, right? And it's hard to keep track of everything. And so we decided after we reach a certain stage of the product, which is now, he's going to switch completely to biz dev and fundraising, and I'm only going to do engineering.
It seems like at an auction site, right? Ultimately, the person who's putting the item, their ultimate goal is to get the highest price possible.
Mm-hmm.
So given that your model requires sort of a much higher bar just to be a participant, in the sense that you need to put all the money up front before you even bid, have you guys run in, and I realize that it's very early, but have you guys run any kind of tests or comparisons to say, hey, identical item on our platform versus these other platforms are yielding the same, higher, lower end result?
No. So right now we've done 2 tests with a closed beta, around 30 people, and so no, we're not at that stage yet, but we'll find out very soon. Yeah.
Got just a couple more minutes.
All right.
What is the point where you stop developing and you start doing something else? Like the problem that you're trying to solve, like where do you feel that you're going to hit that point? Is it number of people using it? Is the number of transactions coming through? What is that point? Have you identified that?
When do we stop developing?
But the reason why I ask is you can develop all day long, but if no one uses it, you just develop all day long.
Mhm.
How do you know where, all right, we've solved the right problem, let's get people to use this thing and now figure out what other problems we need to solve because people use it?
That's a good question. I mean, that's like the question that all startups face, right? It's just like, essentially the question is, how do we reach product market fit?
Prior to that.
Prior to
There's
product
a
market
step
fit?
Before you get product market fit.
I mean, so hopefully, I mean, that's what my business partner is working on right now, is like forming the partnerships with all these platforms. And then once we have that, because with any marketplace, right, the hard side is the supply side, right, to get suppliers to list their items on your marketplace, essentially,
Are you,
right?
I'm sorry, just trying to see if this is what I'm hearing. Are you saying that you're focusing on partnerships because you want groups of suppliers versus
Correct.
working with individuals who might have this product to list?
We're working on both, but as a business, it's more attractive to partner with companies because they have a large amount of supply, right? It's easier to partner with 2 or 3 companies with millions of items than, you know, a million users with one item, right? And so we're focused on getting the supply right now. And then also getting the supply and the partnerships also helps with the marketing because they can bring their users onto our platform. And so that's what we're really focused on
What do you
right now.
offer to those businesses who are trying to partner that they wouldn't want to go build in-house?
Well, right now, most of them, essentially they're doing a lot of work right now, right? Like they're vaulting the item, they're storing the physical thing, they're insuring it, they're creating the NFT for it, right? We provide just the platform, hopefully, where everybody comes, where they know that, you know, this is how the platform works and I can auction or buy unique items, right?
Sami, I got a question. Before your time goes up, what are you doing about documenting your journey? What you've been, where you started, what you're going through, and then where you're going to? What are you doing about documenting that, indexing it, using it as archive material? You say you're going to get to the January fund, the raise. This is all very concrete evidence to your journey. Are you doing any documentation? Video, let's say if you're doing video of you and your co-founder, your partners, weekly, you know, where are we at this week? Are you documenting that?
Not explicit.
I would recommend to do that. It's a very valuable asset. And I would do it on video, because that's what we're all acclimated to right now. It's what we're all, you know, TikTok. Just do it in segments like that, index it, document it.
Not put it on TikTok, but say
Yeah, no. It's social. I'm just saying that as your analogy, but wanted to throw that out there for you and your co-founder.
Not a bad idea.
Yep.
Well, thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to get to the point where I don't have to list on eBay anymore. I'll list with you guys.
Yeah.
When I saw Pokemon cards, I was like, yes. Okay, cool. So next up, we'll have. Do you need a laptop or you can share?
I don't. I'm not going to start any visual,
Okay.
but I am going to pass out some cans since we're going to do a tasting.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah, so-
Okay, so Lowtail, a mocktail company bringing an alternative drink option with flavors and enjoyment without alcohol.
Thank you so
Let's kick it
much.
off. Yeah.
Thanks. So my name is Corinne Sullivan, and I am the founder of Lowtail Mocktails. And what we do is we create non-alcoholic versions of the world's most classic cocktails. Ours are distinctive in that our mocktails have no alcohol. They take on the same feel, look, taste, and smell of an alcoholic cocktail, but no alcohol, no hangover, and hydrating health properties. In the best interest of time, I'm going to pass some cans out in some cups. Want you to taste it, let me know what you think, and I'll give you the whole background and overview and let you know what we're thinking of what we're going to do in terms of scaling and growing. So I'm going to start passing those out. Thank you. Oh, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Let me just sanitize my hands really quick. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I think I might just have enough cans for everyone to take one of each flavor. Maybe the Moscow Mule. Thank you so much. All right, perfect. And then, oh, James, thank you so much. This one's kind of heavy. All right, perfect.
Can you get cups with it?
Oh, yes, I could do cups. I might have to take some of those. Whoops. No, you're fine. Yeah, you're doing fine. Awesome. Okay, yeah, so there are 5 flavors. There's a margarita, Moscow Mule, old fashioned, non-whiskey sour, and a dark and spicy. So there should be 5. Dark and spicy is a play on rum and ginger beer. It's huge in the South. I feel like it's going to be up and coming. It's a nice hearty. A lot of people like Moscow Mules. I think that a dark and spicy is the next step. Funny note, dark and spicy is actually a play of the dark and stormy, which has a copyright on the title. It's one of the only foods that actually has a patented name. So that's why we had to call it the dark and spicy. Things you learn when you're in the ring. So this is, oh yeah, this is a dark and spicy, old fashioned for you.
In selling that one.
Yeah, dark and spicy, please try. That's probably the dark and spicy is the closest to alcohol that we have in our line. And you don't have to drink it now. If you want to take some with you, please do, because then I don't have to carry it back and forth, back and forth. Yes.
You just got 2.
Yes. So you can take 2, you can take whatever's left over. Yeah. Yeah. So people who are conscious of it know. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, we did a very basic, clean design. So our Lotel logo is a fox to kind of play on that Lotel emphasis to try to get more brand recognition in it. So we're real creative. Yeah, so open it up. Be careful when you inhale the Moscow Mule. That ginger will make you choke. It has the same compound as cinnamon. So take care. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you. I feel like.
What market are you going after?
I'm going after the generation Y and Z, a little bit of Gen Xers. I'm going towards really more of a female-oriented market. That's our bread and butter right now. But with Lotel, we really want to design a product that's made for everyone, regardless of background, preference. We wanted to give you an option because this is how it all culminated. So I was throwing a 30th birthday party for my friend right after COVID. It's actually her 31st birthday party. Days before, I'm like, wow, I'm feeling really nauseous and lightheaded. I don't think I have COVID. Tested for COVID, don't have COVID. I'm like, well, let me go to the doctor because we have this huge celebration happening. Sure enough, I was pregnant. So I was like, so I can't tell anybody because usually doctors tell you within the first 3 months, don't say anything because it's a very vulnerable stage when you're carrying a child. And then second of all, I was like, well, it's not about me. It's my friend whose 30th birthday was delayed. So I have to go to this party and it's not about me. Even though in my mind it's all about me because I'm walking in being like, okay, so I can't tell anybody anything and I can't drink. And it was a sushi bar, so I couldn't have any of the food either. So I'm walking around and my friends are like, what's wrong with you? And I don't have a poker face. If you know me, I'm like, oh, nothing. It's a school night. They're like, it's Friday night. I go, oh yeah, but I work for a school, so I'm not drinking. People are making accusations. They're like, did you get in some sort of trouble? They're looking at my ankles to see if I was like on house arrest. And I was like, this is escalating very quickly. And there's accusations. So I was like, I live in the entertainment capital of the world. How come there's not an option for me to have like a disguise where people don't have to pry, you don't feel compelled to have to explain why you're abstaining. Some people are in sorts of recovery or have health issues that they don't want strangers to know. And people by nature are very gracious and generous. So when you're walking around empty-handed at a party, people want to feed you and they want to give you something to drink. So after this party, I was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to make something that takes on a distinctive, unique smell and taste of a sophisticated cocktail, but I'm going to take the alcohol out. And a lot of our competitors, when I was doing some research, kind of in the research development phase, a lot of people in the beverage industry now, they focus on functional. Ours is functional too. We offer hydrating properties to it. But a lot of the drinks on the market now want to enhance your mood or alter your mind. And I was like, no, see, at Lotel, our vision, our mission is based on we like you just the way you are. We just want you hydrated, and we never want to put you in a position where you have to justify anything or any decision you make. So that's where the conception and idea came from. And so that's our unique proposition right now. We are a large e-commerce site. 80% of our business is e-commerce online. We have 5,000 subscribers, monthly subscribers. It's been our bread and butter. Majority of those subscribers are female, ages 21 to 45. This is important, and why I think we're generating some traction is that on a global scale, according to the no and low beverage market, there's projected compound annual interest rates of growth that are supposed to occur over the 10 years, in which will make this a $516.7 billion industry. Projections that were taken in 2020, particularly when people are at home, are high because you were forced to be at home and order products offline, celebrate at home. However, in the no to low beverage market, in which we're in, that's only steadily increased since the end of COVID in 2021. So there's traction, there's a growing market. Interesting enough, we are getting larger and larger wholesale orders in the New England area. And I tend to see in fashion, music, and industry, you have Vancouver, Canada, who's often a little bit of the head of the scene when it comes to music and clothing, and New York City. We're starting to get subscribers way up north in Vancouver, Pacific Northwest, and largely in New England area, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And so now I'm seeing there's this growing market momentum. Yeah.
What's involved in becoming a subscriber?
You go to our website, lowtailusa.com. You can choose one of our 5 options. There's a variety pack too. And you could click subscribe. You get a monthly pack of our 5 cans. And for the holiday season, we also are providing little mini cups that look like a little Moscow Mule cup with it. And we're growing. We have also some incentives. We have some swag and some stickers that are also included in the box that I left on the bar if you want to take one with you.
Those are freebies.
Free, yep.
Oh, so
Yeah.
So people are getting, those aren't paid, they're not buying.
They don't buy it. That's free because they've been loyal customers with us, and we have a return rate of 63%, which means when you buy, 2/3 of our market base will buy again or subscribe.
And the margin on that rebuy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are the margins look like on that rebuy?
On a rebuy, margins are about 20%, which is healthy in a beverage market. It's interesting. I read a lot about the food and beverage industry. It's very competitive to break into. You make the bulk of your money when you exit. And now that I'm more and more in entrepreneurship, that's the bulk of it.
And on a low, medium, high category, as far as price, where do you sit in that category?
We're about in the medium price range, about $19 per case.
How many in case?
There is 12 in our variety pack. There is, I believe, 20
Okay.
from the same hand. Yes, yeah. And they come in fortified boxes. Yeah. And I want to be more business to business because I have to tell you, in terms of shipping, it's costly, it's heavy, and if you've ever shipped liquid across the world, you worry. And you know, they can't handle your package perfectly because they have hundreds that need to go out. So those things are triple corrugated. I wrap them to make sure they make it in one piece. I've also given you some blemished cans. Those are pulled off the line. So some of the cans are blemished. Yes, exactly, to give away. So they don't go to waste because I want to make sure that our consumers get a good looking can. And it's important. I didn't realize how much a dented can is the kiss of death in any kind of canned food industry, or people often will bypass dented cans to get a brand new can.
I'm curious,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
sitting in the middle, you're sitting in the middle of the medium price. How many is above you as far as a high price?
High price, our competitors, particularly ones with high brand names and recognition-wise, name brand brands are Kin Euphorics, Lear's, who is kind of the predecessor and the stronghold. A lot of people are familiar with Lear's because they do non-alcoholic spirits. They were on the market by themselves for a very long time. So those are our main competitors. They can charge more, and consumers will charge more just because they have celebrity brand names, some sort of traction with it. We went high at first too because I'm all bootstrap. It's all my savings. So we went high first because like, if we make enough money selling, then I can package more, create more, not worry about investing or running out of money. Well, the traction slowed down. People weren't really, they're like, oh, it looks cool, but I'm not going to spend $40. So then I started playing around with the margins to find the sweet spot.
Good job.
Oh, thank you. I did a lot of research. So I have a PhD in education, organizations, leadership. I'm from Seattle, where I worked in medical education, and I'm part of the founding team that opened up the UNLV School of Medicine, which is now the Krikorian building. So if you ever talk to a PhD, I would never really go into business with them because we are so in the weeds in research. We tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, and they're like, well, if you want to take a chance. So that's my background, but thanks for saying that, because you know, when I was digging a little too much, you get really fearful because you can't anticipate things, so you never take the plunge. And then finally I was like, well, let's see if we could sell it. And then slowly I've been tractioning and growing, and that's where I am now. So we're very organically grown. I'm not sure where to go next. I'm very new to this scene. And so right now I'm just trying to gain as much knowledge as I can. If you could pass along to your friends, visit our website, lowtailusa.com. Let me know what you think, because we're still small enough that I can modify formulations and play with the textures and the smells a little bit more. So we're going to see where this goes.
I've got 3 questions.
Oh, yeah.
So one is you are bottling this in North Las Vegas,
Yes.
right? And
Co-packer.
I was really proud to see Made in the USA.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of drinks, who knows where they're coming from.
Agreed.
Right? So when you were first building this, was there ever a thought about doing this overseas, or you had a vision of doing this locally?
Yeah, yes, it's, you know, there's some liquid death is packaged overseas because shipping is actually in consideration of large scale shipping by boat is actually cheaper when you think about land and air. Didn't know it until liquid death. I was looking at their case studies. And they had a co-packer in Sweden and so forth. It was very important to me that when I developed something that it would be homegrown in Nevada. If I couldn't get all the ingredients from Nevada, then I would outsource to the United States. I want to create economic opportunities within our home base. especially in America, and compliance when you're working in beverage law and FDA compliance. It's easier to get those credentials when you source from US because all the factories and produce have to go through those steps of compliance to sell their products. So it's easier in terms of legal and licensing, particularly with those nutrition facts. Those are heavily regulated. Okay. And then I very much wanted to stay in North Las Vegas just because I actually went to school at UNLV. I moved away, got my education, came back, and it's just a part of me, I feel like, is Nevada. And I've noticed in my life that very successful people have very strong ties to where they came from, their roots. So that's why I was like, you know, as a little bit of incentive and a little bit of luck, it has to be mixed, co-packed, and packaged in North Las Vegas. No matter what happens to us, our headquarters always has to be in Nevada, because I just feel like that is the root to where all of this culminated, and it has to stay here. Not to be superstitious, but I feel like it brings a little bit more kind of hope and something more homegrown. That's very important to me. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the flavors? Was that like the funnest part?
That was the most fun. I have a home food chemistry kit. So I was at home being like, does this pickle juice make this taste like a margarita? And I started like throw some pickle juice, and like my friends are tasting it, like, this is disgusting. So yeah, I was like mixing it, like putting allspice. I'm like, does that taste like the afterburn? They're like, this is terrible. And so yeah, I was in my kitchen, and then I contacted a guy in Kentucky who had just started playing around with making non-alcoholic bourbon, and he won an award for it. So I was like, you know, I'm going to talk to really smart people who are actually kind of doing this and ask if he would be willing enough. So I called him and said, hey, you know, what if I give you a little bit of money? Would you play around with making some non-alcoholic versions of cocktails? At first he wasn't interested, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try to do this in my kitchen. And you know, he called me back very concerned. He was like, you know what, before you start playing with fire and like doing stuff, like, let me help you out. And I was like, okay. And that's how we started the collection. And then I went around to local bars and I say, what do people drink? And old fashions are very popular. Had no idea. Yes, old fashioned. A margarita is always a mainstay, especially at the pools. So I started asking around, and that's how we kind of organically grew our collection of the 5 flavors we have now. If we get bigger, I would love to experiment and do holiday packs, do like rum and Coke, margarita with like a splash, like little kicks to it, maybe martini. That's where kind of like I'm kind of hopeful if we generate more revenue, we could do different variety packs and really kind of have a variety. Lear's has done that pretty well. They have a variety of spirits, but they've also been around for about 25 years, and it's not their main industry. They actually make alcoholic drinks. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you have one more?
I made a non-alcoholic lychee martini. That
Ooh.
came out pretty good, so maybe give that a
Yeah,
try.
would you share your recipe?
So last question, because we have only a couple of
Okay.
minutes left. You sound like you like bootstrapped this, and I'm curious, how has it been navigating raising money and considering things like accelerators, Shark Tank,
Oh, yeah.
Investors, things like that. I'm just curious what the journey's been like, and maybe warnings to other founders out there of what they should watch out for during that part.
Oh, excellent. So this is actually a really great question, because I'm so brand new that my safe stop was bootstrapping, because I was like, I don't have to answer to anybody, and then I don't have to apologize if I lose someone's money, because that was like a big fear. I don't want to disappoint anybody, and I don't want to lose anyone's money. With mine, we are so organic in that all the revenue I get on my subscriptions and sales, we pump directly back into the company. So I have not had to ask for money yet. We did do a small business loan. We are unique in that right now we're debt free, in that I don't owe anybody money. It's all revenue that's coming in. I haven't paid myself, but when you're doing something that it's creative and fun, you don't have to pay yourself anyway. And I keep my day job full time at the School of Medicine. So that's been really the funnel. I'm a part of the Generator program right now, because I am starting to venture into those waters now. Do we do the venture capitalism and do the seed rounds? Are we even positioned well to do that? And then I was also thinking too, we may ask friends and family, because if there's getting momentum and I feel safe, friends and family. But if we could start raising venture capital, we could grow exponentially very quickly. So there's that too. So I'm in the adolescent stage of growth where I'm like, oh, this might be something that works. And then it's like, so where do we go next? Do we go slow, organic, strategic? Or do we get large venture capitalism and say, this is how you're going to do this. This is how we're going to knock it out of the water, and then exit, and then buy a competitor and try to compete against Lotel. So that's kind of like the idea. But I'm actually in that stage now.
We are
Yeah.
almost at time.
Yeah. Oh,
So
sorry.
one more over here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do one final one. Go.
Okay.
I was going to ask what are your business model and numbers now? Because you say bootstrap, you're debt free, et cetera.
Yes.
What does it look like now? What are you looking like now for revenue
for revenue, so 80% is our subscription base, 20% is business to business. I feel that we should go venture more business to business, because if I can do business to business, I could get larger sale contracts, larger distribution. If I could do larger quality runs, so right now we run about 20,000 cans every 6 months. If I get larger purchase orders in, I could scale that, which will lessen my costs because I could order in bulk and save money on ingredients and canning. Yeah, thank you.
Are your accounts retailers or are they establishments that are serving your product?
They are retailers. And then, yes.
I'm going to close out with
Oh,
one
sure.
final question. Corinne, I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you, because you have 20 people in this room that have all tried something delicious and different for them. Can you ask us all one question so we can give you feedback and have something to add value to you today?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you buy this product online? Would that be your number one, or would you rather go into a store and see it? Where do you think you would purchase my product, I think, is my number one. Like, would you buy it online looking for mocktails, or would you walk in and say, oh, this is intriguing enough for me to pick up?
Can you give
Yeah.
us a price point per can when we're to think about when we're making
Yes,
this
per
decision?
can we sell at $3.99. Similar, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so when you're thinking about that $3.99, can you raise your hand?
Yeah.
You're saying, I would be willing to buy this online, delivered to you. That sounds fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay,
This
now,
is
Can you raise your hand if you're like, no, I need to see this in a store in order for me to buy it at $3.99?
awesome. That's the same. When we do surveys, online surveys too, that is the same percentage. Large people want to go to retail store, get off the market, maybe find something to mix with. That's why I get it too. That's what's fun about you can mix if you want to play around, have more interactive experience. Yeah. Okay, yes, I will be here. Come meet up with it. Yeah. Yes, James.
How much revenue are you going to do this year? What's your
This revenue, we're going to probably hit just over $150,000. Yeah. And we're growing. Yeah, debt free. That's all from my life savings that I funneled into this. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah, thank you.
If you got a new subscriber, I'll definitely
I'll
sign up
so
for that.
excited.
I love the old fashioned. Yeah. I might add
yes,
some whiskey
please
to
take
it, but
Yes, please take it. Yeah. And then we have a mascot. I have a mascot now.
it might give
I'm gonna
mixture.
make a sticker that looks
Exactly.
like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
puppy. I would make exactly. If I had known. If I
All
had
right,
met
we
you
do
earlier.
have one more demo. We've got Jewel Fit. They presented probably about a year ago. I love this idea. Although I am not as disciplined as I should be with working out, this is definitely like the tech and the meathead working out all in one nice, big, great package. So I'm super excited to see where you're at. Yeah. Where did oh, she's got it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm still wearing your. You were going to record my cycles.
Okay, very difficult to follow the Energizer Bunny. I'm currently in an incubator with Corinne. For all of us who have excuses, she is on the founding board of the medical school in Las Vegas, working full time. She has a baby. How old at home?
He's a year and a half.
A year and a half child at home. She has a husband. Can I say what he does?
Yes.
He's in the FBI, so he travels most of the time, and yet she's developed this business. So ask her about how to get this energy. My name is James Ritchie with Jewel Fit. We are a technology company using AI, using robotics, and using data to disrupt everything you thought you knew about fitness. So in the room today, how many people have worked out today? How many people worked out in the last 2 days? How many people worked out in the last 5 days? Those of you who didn't raise your hand, why not? How many people in this room believe, with all the education that's out there, talking to your doctor, athletes, how many believe you should be working out every week? How many people have the time to reach your fitness goals? That's great, we see some here. So, in my previous life, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm the most introverted person you had ever met 25 years ago. I built assembly lines for 25 years. And then I did a startup just because my friend had a great product. I was going to buy into that, and when we got time, we got to about 3 million in sales. They marched me out the door, long story. But it was the biggest blessing that ever happened to me. The next day I get a call from a company up near Chicago, And I did turnaround consulting for 7 years, where we come into your company, sales, operations, and finance, we do turnarounds. So I've got that background too. So Jewel Fit, let me see if I can, there we go. So I've been in fitness all my life. It may not look exactly like it now, but I was one of those people. I did college sports. I was in the gym 2 hours every single night up to the age of 40 years old. I could not leave my job as an engineer without stopping by the gym. I was doing lifting, I was doing personal training. I overtrained my entire life. I've got a very addictive personality. When I was 42 years of age, my nephew and I, we decided to take bench pressing and see how high we could get. I got to, not a brag, I got to 400 pounds bench press. The first time we did the bench press, I did 1 rep. It felt really good. The second rep, I heard something pop in my shoulder. For 2 years, I could not lift my arms above my shoulder. I should have gotten rehab. I should have done something. But at that point in my life, I said, okay, I got to find a better way to work out. At that time, about 15 years ago, Body by Science. Anyone ever heard of this book? It's a #5 best-selling book of all time in fitness, written by Dr. Doug McGuff. And this is a workout that's been around for 25 years. It's an abbreviated workout, getting you an exact dose, taking you to failure across 5 or 6 exercises without having to spend 6 hours in the gym. After I had been doing this workout, about, 8 or 9 years later, one day I get a call from my former business partner. He says, James, the fitness industry and the specialty gyms is growing by 23% a year. Curves just sold for $1.9 billion. We're going into the fitness industry. At that point, I said, I have the workout. The Body by Science was a workout that's been around for 25 years. And then we used the Tesla model. We stacked. I've been working with robotic actuators my entire life. Robotic actuators can do anything, but I really hadn't seen it applied to fitness. So basically what we've done is we've created a company, and in this company, I am going after all of you who don't either have the time or maybe not the knowledge to be successful in getting your goals. If you go to the gym and you look at all the people who are in shape, they either have a good personal trainer or, like Mr. Eric over here, you got a lot of knowledge. So what we wanted to do is disrupt everything you think you know about fitness. So imagine walking into a 2,000 square foot spa environment. You walk in the door, facial recognition knows who you are, and automatically it directs you to a robotic set of equipment. There's 5 exercises. We have the low row, chest press, pull down, shoulder press, and leg press. When you walk into the studio, on that first screen is your last workout. The machine automatically adjusts to your personal settings. The seat adjusts, the range of motion adjusts. On that screen in that graph is your best workout to date. So every time you go through this process, you're competing against your best workout. As you go through that, we've got a gamified monitor. If you stay above that curve you see there, you will beat your best workout and get a better score. Now, we also wanted to get rid of the intimidation factor. If you go into a gym, a lot of people are really intimidated because you walk in there and you see all the, I call them muscle heads, you see all the fit people, and then you're sitting there saying, I don't know what to do. In our gym, we got 5 pieces of equipment. 3 of them are pull, 2 of them are push. That's all you have to know to be successful in the gym. Now, if you look at the machines, they're going to be in a semicircle. We do have a professional trainer that's standing behind that control board. But as you go through there, in that first machine, we could have a 90-year-old lady who's never been in the gym before. She could be right next to a bodybuilder, and she's not going to see that person there unless she turns and looks. If you look across all of those screens, the graphs are the same. The only difference is the number of weight you're actually pushing. So she could be doing 10 pounds, he could be doing 900 pounds, and the graphs are going to look the same. So we're really eliminating that intimidation factor. Now, the secret to the workout is We are matching your force in real time. So if you're doing a bench press and you can do a 100-pound bench press, you take the maximum weight you can handle at your weakest position. But as soon as you get 2 or 3 inches from the body, you've got another 30% of strength, maybe 40. By the time you get out to here, it's maybe 90. On the way back, the human body's 30 to 40% stronger. I have an unlimited safe negative. So what does that mean? Negative is when the weight's coming back at you. The human body is 30 to 40% stronger. If you're not pushing the piece of equipment, it doesn't move. So I can take a person off the street who's never been in the gym, and I can safely take them to failure, because if you stop pushing the machine stops. So you hop on that first machine, your program automatically follows you through the system and tells you where to go. 15 minutes later, you walk out the door with the best workout of your life. Now, the good part about this is your body can only handle 2 workouts a week because you won't recover. So I'm looking at 30 minutes a week to provide all of your strength training and a high degree of aerobic exercise too. I'm James Ritchie with Jewel Fit.
So how can we start today? It's like, do you have a location currently, or?
We currently are not open to the public. I have a studio in my house. Within the community, which includes all of you guys, get my contact information and you can try it out. We're in the process of moving into Blackfire. We're going to go into the co-working at Sunset Space. In December, we will be moved in there. And then we're going to go public. We're also an amenity for the co-working space. We're doing a promotional campaign, work out. How do you feel today?
I'm feeling good. I worked out with him.
He came and worked out on Friday.
How do you leverage this audience to get you information?
Come and try the workout as soon as we get into Blackfire. I will be announcing it at Tech Alley. We'll probably do a launch here, but come in there and work out twice and see what you think. That's what I'll need.
Why did you choose facial recognition for, because I've seen other things where it's like you have a USB stick or something like that. You kind of went the hardest route, but also the best in the sense where I don't need to bring anything. But what made you make that decision, I guess?
A lot of this was developed during COVID. And during COVID, we're going to have, and it's a third-party facial recognition, it's not mine, but as soon as you walk through that door, I can identify who you are, even if you come in with a group. This can all be done as a setup from your phone. So you take the phone and you hold it in front of your face, you go left, right, up, and down, and when you come through that door, it'll do 100% of everyone we got in our database. It'll know who you are. When you walk up to the screen in front of you, you don't have to touch anything. It's going to ask you, are you ready to work out? If you say yes, it puts you right into queue. If you say no, you do a hand signal, then you can go change, and then you come back in front of the camera. So a lot of this was developed as COVID was happening, just in case we have to go down that path again.
Question, I'll ask, how many of you all would use facial recognition? How many of you all would actually enroll in that? Raise your hand if you would. Enroll in facial recognition. You try it out?
It's a lifestyle hack.
And we're validating the results. So if I can get you the results, I believe that everyone will do it. Not everyone, but you know what I'm saying.
So you say that twice a week for your, so this would be part of somebody's overall regimen, or this would be?
I'm doing your base level of fitness, all of your muscular strength training. And then the rest of the time, there is a big cardio effect that we're testing with VO2 Max. We recently had a professional bodybuilder that's in the 2024 Mr. Olympia. He came through and he was breathing so hard he could not complete the workout. So there's a big VO2 Max component. But what I'm doing is I want your base level of fitness. There's a huge amount of health benefits when you pull the glycogen out of the muscle. It increases your testosterone, your HGH, it improves your sleep. BDNF, brain development neurotropic factor, all of these are associated with health, and you guys get to my age, anti-aging.
To hit that VO2 factor, does it tell you how fast you should be going on these machines then?
No, I'm matching you on that day. Let's say you had a bad night. Let's say whether you were mixing these drinks with something else. And by the way, they're great mixers. Yes, right now, I'm setting the protocol. Like if you came over to my house, my studio today, it's 5 reps, 8 seconds out, 13 back. Now, eventually, AI is going to sit on top of this, and it's going to customize every one of the piece of equipment, and then it's going to keep you from plateauing over time. So there's going to be a big AI component to basically keep the human body stressed, essentially. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. And do you have like an online component where I could track my history of like how well I've progressed, sort of thing?
Yes, we are going to, and it's not totally complete. As soon as you get through this workout, as you're going out the door, you're going to have your entire history on an app. You're going to see how much you've improved in the last 6 months. And then we're also giving you the ability to, about 80% of the men so far and about 30% of the females have said, what's the best score on all those machines? So we're going to give you the ability to compete against everyone in your age group, everyone in Vegas, everyone in the entire community. And that'll be a big part of this. And then another part of the gamification is if you're walking in with your spouse or your friend and you're much stronger, we've got an equalizing score to where you can compete against any other person at the same time. So a group could come in and it's based on the best improvement and some other factors we're looking at.
We've got a few questions. Few minutes left. Do we have any other questions? 1, 2, 3.
So again, it's very early, but it sounded like you're discussing, or your plan is to build sort of these exclusive studios, and that's where you would have access. Is there any thought of like, we can just sell the machines to existing fitness locations, and we just run sort of the software behind it and make sure they all work?
There has been as a sub-brand possibly in the future. Right now we're set up to go into any strip mall in America, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. The equipment is very expensive. I do have people who want a set in their home. I mean, right now that set would be $200,000 for 5 machines. Eventually that may come down to about $150 because we are going to manufacture all that equipment here locally in Las Vegas. So essentially what we have right now, guys, we've taken the best rehab equipment in the world and we've stacked technology. So if you want to ask that question, I've got the best rehab equipment in the world right now because it's their equipment with our technology stacked on it. So that is another sub-brand. There's lots of areas to go with this. We keep the temperature it'll be at 65 degrees. You will not sweat during the workout because it's such a short abbreviated period of time. So eventually a set of 5 pieces of equipment is going to go into a corporation. During the day, you can come down in your dress clothes, take your dress shoes off, do a workout and go right back to work.
So I like using audiences for feedback. How many of you all would actually do a workout if you couldn't sweat? You didn't have to sweat. You can hit your negative, which means that you're actually maxing out your muscle capacity, and you would pay for it. Like, how many of y'all would do that?
There's no sweating?
No, it's no sweating. There's actually no sweating.
It's so fast you don't sweat?
There's a big.
So it's not about speed. It's not about speed. It's literally about taking your muscles to their max, both resistance and strength, like push and pull. My mind is like right now.
Well, and I will tell you that I sweat more than anyone in this room. But if I take the temperature down to 65 and it's an abbreviated 15 minutes, you won't sweat during that. Now your temperature will be elevated for 24 to 48 hours as you recover, but during the workout, there's no sweat.
Is it entirely native reps? Is that what you're saying?
When you say native?
Native.
Oh, no. I have, right now, in medicine or in sports, there's basically 3 triggers for muscle growth. You have buildup of lactate, and if you guys have done restrictive training, restrictive blood flow, there's stretching a muscle under tension, that's the negative, and then there's muscular tearing where your body's actually rebuilding it. So we have variables. I can take the entire 90 seconds and make it a negative. I can sit there and move all those variables, and then eventually we're going to look at you, your strength, and your improvement. So my goal is I want you guys to join. We want to start the largest exercise study in the history of the world. We've got all these groups out there. One group says there's volume. Most of them have better supplements than most of us take. But I want to resolve that once and for all because eventually we're going to have the data on every type of workout, every group, male, female. We're going to have all that data. So we're a data company, and that's what we're going for.
We're almost at time. There was a second or third question.
Okay, so this is miraculous, but there's a social aspect to going to the gym. It seems like it's not part of this. Like there's classes, you're there with people, and this is more like when the chiropractor getting zapped and adjusted and leaving. How do you anticipate keeping people coming back with that social aspect of it?
Absolutely, that's one of the big questions. I have you captured for 15 minutes. During that time, all of this is automatic. We have a professional trainer that's going to be over 5 machines for that relationship. So we're developing the relationship. We're creating an online platform to where you can communicate with everyone, and all the other services will come through there. We've got a bunch of stuff that goes on into the future. So we're doing that relationship with the front desk person. There's going to be 3 trainers, 1 on each circuit. And we're also going to give you the ability to come with a group. So every 45 seconds, one of those seats open. So you can go through as a group, but it's not the same as the gym. I know it's a social, but I'm going after the people who don't have the time. So most of those people aren't coming in to spend an hour at the gym. Most people will have a second membership. If you look at specialty gyms, not all at VAC, but I'm talking about Pilates, the average person has 3.8 memberships. So I'm creating your baseline of fitness, all your muscle, a lot of cardio, and then you do the fun stuff. Play basketball, swim, whatever it is you like to do.
All right, last question. I just had a comment. I've seen your space at Blackfire. I'm there working on prototypes, and I'm like, let me go check on gym stuff, make sure nobody's touching it. But it's modular. Like you bring it in modules and it just kind of connects together, which I think would save time instead of building out a huge gym. You could just get an open space, and the equipment's designed to fit, and you just push it together, right?
Well, as we roll out, the entire interior of the gym is a kit. The floors are raised, the wires go underneath, even the walls are going to be pre-wired. And the reason we're doing that is so when we start, I believe 3.5 years from now, I want to be opening 1 a day. I've got to be able to do that with my crew. In Vegas, it took us $150,000 to get to permitting in a gray space. Because you have to have an architect, you got to have, the electrical, you got to have interior designer. So we're also looking at the business. How do we scale this rapidly once we get that first location open?
I think the kit is ready for build out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
We got one last
Can you take this
question,
one
and
more?
then we'll wrap up.
I was just curious, it would be interesting, I just thought it was an idea, to have the body composition scanners that I have a doctor I go to, we just stand on it and it measures, your muscle, your fat, your organs fat, it kind of does a whole scan of you. I remember I made 15 pounds in muscle, but I lost 15 pounds of fat, so I wouldn't have known if I just got on a scale, you know what I'm saying? So
And
I don't know, maybe a component of that for proving
that's a great idea.
doing.
And we actually have that.
Yeah, okay, great.
Maybe you need to be my co-founder. We've tested all the 3D body scanners. The brand that we're on now is going to be Staiku. Staiku, you'll go into a private room, get into your underwear. It does a 3D body scan. It takes 23 measurements, plus it does body fat. And it's correlated within 2% of DEXA scan, if you know what that means. That's an X-ray. So everything that we do on the workout, we want to validate it to show you. And then, when I was doing personal training for many years, and I'll tell the story, then I'll shut up. I had a female that was about 5'6", weighed 140, and in her mind, she was a skinny fat person. She lost 4 dress sizes and weighed exactly 140 pounds, and everyone on the street would walk up to her because she looked so good. So muscle weighs a lot more than fat does. So she lost 4 dress sizes and still weighed 140 and looked phenomenal. So a lot of what we're doing is also validating the workout so we can show that you've lost this much fat and gained this much muscle, besides the strength component.
Some people give up at the gym because you can't see that.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you all
Awesome.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Another round of applause for Low Tail as well as Liquid Auctions. Thank you very much for presenting. Delicious. You have a new subscriber, yes. And absolutely looking forward to Blackfire opening up, and definitely want to give that stuff a try. So Hopefully I'll be yoked the next time you see me after that. But, okay, so just a couple of last minute things. Thank you, Sami, for helping cover last month I wasn't here. If you would like to give a demo at the next demo time event, I'm going to be leaving some of my cards here at the front. I do freelance software development. Sami also does consulting for startups, so if you want to get in touch with us, feel free. If you go to phpvegas.com, there's a sign-up form for the demo time event slots there as well. Any other things we should mention, you think, Sami?
Yes, if you want a demo for next year, please come chat with us soon. We're going to do something kind of special in December. Can I ask you really quickly, is anyone planning to be here next month, December 18th? Okay, we are still going to have a large group. We are planning on doing something special for that and doing something slightly different than what we usually do. But we are already filling up slots for January and February next year. So if you want a demo for next year, please come talk to us sooner rather than later. Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.